What is up, fellas? Time is here, an illusion right there. It's kind of like you get in those NCAA football games, maybe Madden as well, but definitely in NCAA football. You'd see that screen uh, on the big board that would kind of replicate your screen, and then you get an infinite loop and whatnot. Look at the cool ass. Yeah, just do it one more time. Oh, let's cool, let's cool, let's cool, let's cool. But this is going to be the tutorial for the roster file making and stuff like that. Um, so the main app for it is going to be Madden Xtreme Database Editor, Madden Xtreme DB Editor. You can find it on the thread. Well, it's the first thing when you look it up. But in this case right here, we're taking a gander, Mr. MWolfe, all to this man or woman. Pretty sure it's a guy, Baylor fan. We'll give him a slide on that one, just a little pass. Baylor Bear fan, but this man's been behind the magic for years and whatnot. He's done like a really good job of setting up roster files and stuff like that. And in this case, he also has franchise files for these, because apparently you cannot actually import a roster to set up a new, like, let's, for instance, like, like you load a roster in the main menu. You can't, like, it'll freeze if you try to set up like a new franchise with that roster going into it. So you have to set up a franchise file. I'm going to show you what to do now that we have to deal with the franchise file and what we can do from there once we download the franchise file and then use that download for the franchise file and then update the roster that is within this franchise file. As you can see, he's got Madden 06, 07, 08, and then 12. So for all of y'all interested in this, there's examples for all of this. And also, too, if you want to use the same roster, you can, I'm pretty damn sure you could just use one roster file from one game compared to the other. I think it'll work because they're all on PlayStation 2. They didn't really change up much when it came to the rosters and whatnot. So I think as long as you just download the franchise file for the respective game, in this case, if you want Madden 12 or something like that, then bam. It works perfectly. It'll be totally fine. I think you can just use whatever year edition of the roster file that you want to edit and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and, like, in the description, I'll put a couple links and stuff like that. Whether it's going to be, the Amazon link I'm going to show y'all for the free MCBoot memory card. Links to each of these threads, such as the Football Idiot thread that we're going to end up seeing, where you can download the Madden database editor. This one, you do have to sign in and if you haven't, like, created an account, register an account so that way you can actually download these zip files. And then from there, well, you upload it as a zip file. It'll be downloaded as a PSU file for you to eventually do what I'm going to show. But there you go right there. That's the Madden NFL 08. I believe that's the franchise file right there. Yes, indeed it is. I'm going to go ahead. Well, not going to go ahead just yet. But you see how that logo is already there on the left-hand side of that file, at least the icon right there. That is technically the icon you're going to have for Madden Database Editor. Every time you're going to download a franchise file like that or a roster file, it should show like that. If you already have the database editor already, downloaded and... What's the fucking terminology? I can't even think it fully, like... whatever. Once you get it fully downloaded and stuff like that and, like, installed, Jesus, fuck, installed, then you will be able to pretty much just open it within the app, and then from there, it looks pretty straightforward. But we will dive in a little bit deeper. As you can see right here, that right there is a roster file. That's an example of it. Don't know. You see Dalton Schultz right here, so it's going to probably most likely be an example about Madden 21. So there you go. That's your what does it say? Previous version. So it's got to be the most up-to-date one, I'd imagine. It's at least the one that I downloaded, and you know what, fellas? Pretty foolproof. Only took me roughly 2 weeks to a month, and for the kind of shit that goes into this stuff, if you don't know much about Microsoft Excel, it's all good. It is all good. We're, like, learning to do this stuff, and it didn't take me all too long. Hopefully the tutorial helps, because a lot of times these guys are just explaining it, in the best of terminology they can, and in the simplest of explanations on these operations forums. and they've done a great job of doing so, to be quite honest. I'm pretty sure right there they do the same thing for 2K games and the 2K rosters and whatnot. Like I said earlier, the roster I use for my franchise file is actually the one in which I edited myself after downloading his skin. I'm just going to call it a skin because I edited it myself. But pretty much just like the meat and potatoes of it, the file itself, and then edited it. There you go. The man's super helpful. He's been responding. Look at that. I mean, 218 just of this year. While I'm recording that is what, just 4 days ago. I'm recording this on the 22nd. Hopefully I have this up on the 23rd, Wednesday the 23rd, or Thursday the 24th. But anywho, I mean, this isn't something that's like super secret. I know it's something that a lot of people have thought of and stuff like that. So I definitely did. That's why we're sitting here today, and I'm trying to help the rest of y'all out, or anybody who may be interested in doing this kind of stuff on the side to kind of improve their own experience on PlayStation 2. But right here, as you can see, we got the Madden database editor. Should be on the desktop, or at least I select the file for it. I open it on the app. There's our file. That's the whole franchise file, because if it was a roster file, it'd be 5 or 6 different reference numbers, or sheets. We'll call it sheets, just like you would have a single sheet on an Excel document, and then you'll have sheet 2 or something like that. But in this case, it's going to be when looking for the roster, because everything else is perfectly intact. I mean, when you think about it, maybe you make a couple trades and stuff like that, but again, if you do that in the franchise file, and if you want to update it, that's what I did. Downloaded the franchise file. Didn't even start week 1 of the season yet, or the preseason, for instance. Week 1 of the preseason, because it already goes through training camp. Week 1 is where you will begin according to the franchise file. You can make a couple trades in there, and then if you want to make that your baseline, so that way you don't have to keep on going back to it. You want to set that up as, say, for instance, you're a graphic designer. Set that up as your initial layer for you to be able to duplicate, and then from there, that layer doesn't change. You've already duplicated it to your new files, and that way you can play with literally every single team if you want, or have a different franchise with this team, see how it goes, this team, see how it goes. That's basically what I do. I have this franchise file that I edited after downloading it and working it in this. And then, of course, I have the Bears one. They're 2 separate ones because the Bears was a duplicate that we moved on with. And so what? But now, this is when you start getting really deep into this. The franchise file is already made. But, again, like I was saying, with the roster itself, we did export. It's not going to export the entire thing. You can press export all if you want. But my God, is that going to take a while to download just in general? I mean, again, we're talking about, I can't even tell you. I mean, millions of data points, and what we already have is 170 Excel sheets. So at that point, just export the roster. You don't need to edit anything else. You got the rosters and stuff like that for you. It's not a big deal. What you could do is I'll put my roster file and stuff. Hell, it's on that same thread that I'm going to provide anyways. It'll just be on the more recent pages, whether it be the second to last, or in that case, we saw the last page right there, which, like I said, guys are super supportive. They've been doing it for years. And he's still responding to shit. And it's 218. Yet I'm pretty sure this shit keeps on getting updated all the way from 2010, 2011. You got El Guapo that we had right there on the Football Idiot to download the Madden database. And then in this case right here, so that way our data actually stays in place. As you can see, it didn't move at all. All we're going to do is actually sort this data. But all the data is going to stay within each respective name. However, though, to make it easier to kind of copy and paste the roster to edit it for myself, I went ahead and just made it alphabetical order. Makes it very easy because, again, if you have the same player names in one roster file, which, for instance, is another CSV Excel file. Hence why we have player 2 and then a play 1. It's basically what I did, just copy and pasted, making sure that I was doing alphabetical order for all the players, like last names. I'm about to show it right here. Sorry, this would be more like me commentating live with this, had the thing not fucked up. And for some reason, Elgato was not letting the volume go through for shit that commentary already had fucking laid out over this. But it is what it is, fellas. Again, I'm having fun just going over this once again. And also, too, maybe it gives me another perspective to kind of give a little bit more insight than I was actually thinking on the fly. But hopefully, my ass from the past can actually show y'all how to maneuver this so that way you can sort. Oh yeah, I remember this now. I was having trouble with sorting that shit. But you see right there, that's already in alphabetical order, but I copy and paste it, right? But now what I'm doing, go ahead, format cells. No, we're going to watch my dumbass go through this for a while. There's sort and filter. Sort is the way to go. Sure. ... And then bam, cell values. Nope, but we will set it A to Z for the last names. But you have to make sure to sort A through Z by the specific column. Because again, when you think about it, rows, think about that every one of these rows, if you want an easy way of remembering the rows and columns, rows are going to be facing the top of the screen, like one after the other, stacked on each other, just like a movie theater. And then your columns are going to be like each individual set of seats, just vertically. So columns are vertical, rows are horizontal, left to right in this case. Sorting by PLNA, it's going to stand for player last name. And hopefully it ends up working out right here. It's going to annoy the shit out of me if not, but it should be good. Yeah, there we go. So Amir Abdullah happens to be the very first, because the A-B in his name, man, you want to talk about a dude that a lot of people were looking forward to. But you should see right here, I had it in the same order for each different roster file. And then all I did was just copy and paste after I knew everything was in order. But now, we pressed export, correct? Now it's time to do the exact opposite. We already left the elevator. It's time to come back into the elevator. So we're going to import the file we just edited and put it into that. Again, I gotta fucking save as this shit. But it is what it is. It's a process, fellas. It is a process. No. You gotta fucking delete this shit before. There you go. Has been deleted. But as you can see, save it. Oh, son of a bitch. There we go. But we can just do it one more time. Again, we're going to import right here. Anytime soon. Import, remember, export to draw it out of the roster file that you're editing on Madden Xtreme database editor. And then we will do import. And then from there, just easy. It's just like as if you're like saving as or opening on any other computer application. It'll pop up wherever you want to look for whatever file you want to import. In this case, it won't let you import anything besides a CSV. So that's totally good. We should be set up well. It's going to take a minute, but again, most things don't happen that fast, and especially when dealing with a foreign application. Promise y'all, it didn't give any bugs to my computer. It's just foreign in general because this is an application like created third party. It's not something that's sold in stores or licensing with fucking, Apple or Microsoft or some shit like that. But I promise you, it's not going to make your computer crash, and it's not even that large of a file to begin with. But when taking a gander at this, come on, you motherfucker. Oh, yeah. I don't remember what I was freezing on that like right there. But that should be good to go. It's taking a minute just to come back from all this, which is interesting to me. There you go. And now we're taking a gander, right? We had Amir Abdullah right there. Gonna take a look at the team IDs Right there, as you can see, that's free agents, 1009. There's other different codes for that as well, but you got team IDs. And what's weird about that is that, well, not all too weird, but you're going to start at 0, which means that the first team is technically team 0. But what's very strange is at the very, very end, the last 3 teams, I believe, are in reverse order. So I think, what are the last 3 teams? Texans, Titans, and the Minnesota Vikings. In that case, the Vikings is last, since we're going to count down from, I believe it's 32 football teams, correct? Yes, 32. Then you would have, Minnesota is 30. In that case, right there. That is proven because Amir Abdullah is a backup running back. Well, third string at least. Maybe a good chance he's the fourth string running back. Forgot who it was. But they're 30th. Titans are 31st. And the Texans are last at 32. Don't ask me. That's just how it is. But now this is free MCBoot. This is what it's going to look like on your PlayStation 2. Again, this is another thing that's going to hack your PlayStation. But also, too, this is only ever going to pop up if you were to have no disc at all. It's going to start like every game, right, fellas? I've had this forever. These rosters don't happen unless I have this. And as a result, I'm still able to play all these like franchise files and stuff like that. Still play these games with free MCBoot. So hopefully that pleads the case for not being scared shitless for this. Pretty common thing. You could look up free MCBoot on like YouTube and stuff like that just to see other people's perspectives. But what happens is, hacks your file. You can now pretty much see the guts of your PlayStation 2. MC0, MC1 stands for memory card 1, and then memory card slot number 2. Now, mass, though, will represent your USB. And again, the USB is going to be needed in order to save those roster files on the CSV. And then from there, you can transfer those, save them, obviously. Does anybody actually use a safe eject on a fucking USB? And has it ever fucked you when you ever had that? But, for instance, taking a look at all this, look at all that shit right there. That is just all the different stuff. I'm able to technically surf through this as if it were videos and stuff like that. For instance, right there, we do have our PSU file, but I was showing just a second ago the YouTube video stuff. That's literally the folder I use to download stuff, upload it on YouTube. Bada boom, bada bing. This thing, that's the hack. You're just surfing through this stuff in a very weird looking way. Yeah. Kind of makes you feel like you're Tom Hanks in the movie Big playing a fucking video game. It's very weird screen layout, but it gets the job done. Pretty straightforward. Again, hopefully y'all watching this know what you're getting into when you first use it. Took me a long time. I tried to burn a disc and stuff like that, and then found out for just $15, fellas, think of how much the 8 megabyte PlayStation 2 memory cards, the Sony official ones, used to cost. Now it's only 15 to have, 8 or 16? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's 8. But it's 15 on Amazon. This shit's getting to your door in 2 days. You don't even have to jerk off that long. And that shit's going to be delivered to your door, $15. You're going to get this in a memory card that you can now use it as a memory card itself. As a memory card itself. You can see all these different. And again, Bassless. These are all files that I did that were outside of free MCBoot. And with that being said, it's just PlayStation files. That's what these dudes have been doing. It was a Bassless or bossless, whatever the fuck you want to call it. When I say bossless, it reminds me of Basel from fucking Austin Powers. But these are the same kind of files, and it's proof that the file that we downloaded with the roster and stuff like that in the franchise file, like for instance, you see Bears 22 at the bottom of the screen. That would be the one that we have. We've got Cockeye, the legend right there, BJ Simmons. I also downloaded Draft Class for 07 for, I think it was Madden 08, but maybe it was just saying 07 for the Draft Class. It does check out. But if we're going to take a look back now, what did I do now? What did I do now? Oh, my cutting to it. I think, if anything, what is going to show. Oh, yeah, this is, now that I've showed you how to copy and paste it on the thing. And remember, this is all visual as well as the audio on top of this. Hopefully the audio helped as like a little like commentary guide to help y'all kind of understand what you're seeing, but also too what you're seeing. Like it's something that shouldn't take too long to have down. Now for me, I didn't have a legit tutorial like this shit. There's guys with like, yeah man, this is my way of doing this fucking thing, and then everybody and their brother had 20 different fucking ways to do it. And when you have 20 different ways to do it, that's awesome. That's really cool that you have guys with the same goal and 20 different ways to do it. It's like businesses in the world, right? We all have the goal of making money, making profit, being able to have a nice living, but different ways of making money. In this case, different ways of making rosters for a game, franchise files. But it really did not help me understand it, because every time I'd look for a new video, because I was a little confused about how that guy explained it, this other motherfucker just has his own way to do it, and then I'm just left back at, home plate, not able to get past first base again. But taking a look, franchise file, NFL 2021, that's the base one that I had. That's the one that will be copied, or that will be duplicated. Copied doesn't fucking matter. In this case, the Bears 22 franchise, the duplicate of it, the one that we ended up using, to where I went ahead and saved pretty much the equivalent of a save as instead of an override. And then bam, this is your NFL 2021. We'll take a look at the rosters just to show that they were the same ones that I had. There you go, Khalil Mack. Kind of changed a little bit of these to more updated at the end of the season type stuff. But of course, especially after that game, Aaron Donald remains at 99 overall. But Aaron Rodgers, MVP again, 99 overall. Patrick Mahomes, still stayed at it. Tom Brady, you could technically make the case for 99 overall. Russell Wilson, kind of stick around there. Let's be honest, man. He got injured a lot. I'm not going to shit on that. Josh Allen probably boost that a little bit more. But again, these are rosters that I have not updated since right before the playoffs. But taking a gander at it, I mean, you got Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and everybody right there. This is, and my point is, I'm rambling. This is the updated roster that I had, that I also have in that video, to where showcasing, this is like PlayStation 2 rosters for Madden 22. Maybe because people thought it was very interesting. I thought that shit was too. And then now, as you can see it after it was in action, and we had to put 98 for the speed, maybe an 88 for acceleration. But Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry, man, when these two dudes are just at full speed running downhill, I wouldn't want to fuck with them. Maybe Derrick Henry deserves to go above Christian McCaffrey. But to make it more, I'm pretty sure I'm going to show even more so. Never mind. But I'm pretty sure earlier I showed how Christian McCaffrey, for his injury, is now at a 50. He's going to be most likely considered injury prone. I already saw Matthew Berry's, not Perry. That should be a 99 now. Cooper Kupp, in all honesty. It is what it is, though. God damn it, what the fuck I was saying. Matthew Berry's. And he was like, yeah, Christian McCaffrey's like the number 2 running back. And I was like, well, just because, I don't know, man. He just keeps on getting injured. And it's sad to see. It sucks. But he's just getting overworked. That's the case. But, as you can see, this is the roster. And it even had the fucking holdout for Deshaun Watson. And listen, fellas, I think we all enjoy a nice visit to a massage parlor. Well, some of us, most of us can accept the fact that we don't want to pay for it. And that's why we don't end up doing it. But then some of us that do pay for it still decide to get aggressive in these massage parlors. And then that's your reasoning for a holdout for Deshaun Watson. So, that is what it is on that account. Maybe Matt Stafford needs to get improved a little bit like that. But this is just the same roster file I had before. It's what that franchise looks like. And again, like I said, the franchise file for the first season needs to be simulated. So that way you can officially, and right before the offseason start, dictate which teams are actually going to be user controlled or not. Because every team is user controlled in the first season. It's just how the franchise file happened. No reason to bicker about it. MWolfe's a fucking G, so is El Guapo. Hopefully this helps. Any questions, fellas? Fucking hit me up on this. I hope y'all enjoyed it and learned a lot.